The chapter begins with our MC, now an old man reflecting on his past and current situation. At this age, he thinks his life was a failure. While other players of his generation earn titles like Sword Saint or Sword God, he's recognized merely as an old man with a sword. That's all the recognition he ever received. His mind drifts back to a painful memory, where a lady is in the clutches of a monster. She's telling MC not to be scared, even as she herself is terrified. She was his teacher. And as an orphan who grew up without any family, she and the other kids were the only family MC ever knew. They all died. As MC is also being held by the monster, and the creature is about to devour him, someone suddenly appears and kills the monster, saving MC. He's shocked and surprised by this unexpected rescue. The hero asks if MC is okay while MC cries, thinking it was a miracle that he was saved by that figure. From that moment on, he wanted to be just like his savior. This became his dream ever since childhood, but there was only one problem. No matter how many monsters he slew or killed, he didn't get stronger. He couldn't even protect the people who were important to him. The scene shifts back to the present where MC has just finished killing all the monsters around him. He curses his old body, which is giving him so much pain. As he sits resting, he suddenly hears something. Another monster approaching. As the creature prepares to attack, MC sighs, thinking that his life was indeed a failure. He can't stop regretting his choices. The only thing he wants now is to regress, to go back and try again, standing victorious over a slain dragon head. Despite this achievement, he feels profound frustration. At nearly 60 years old, he spent 3 decades living as a swordsman. Yet, his greatest accomplishment is merely ranking among the top 100 players in his country. Essentially, a needle in a haystack among countless other players. After defeating the dragon, Shinn receives a skill book as a reward. Having consumed artifacts before using his unique ability, he wonders if he can eat this book too. Suddenly, a portal opens behind him and a spectacled man emerges. His contracted constellation known as Late Bloomer Model Student. The constellation congratulates Shinn on his victory and impressive final strike. Though grateful for the contract, Shinn privately acknowledges his status as merely a third-rate swordsman. The Late Bloomer Model Student's contract offers extraordinary benefits. When a player reaches level 850, all artifacts and titles are doubled in power, and at level 900, all stats are tripled. Currently at level 650, Shinn has yet to benefit from these remarkable conditions. When the constellation urges Shinn to consume the skill book, our protagonist reveals his unique awakened ability, Devour Artifacts. For decades, he experimented with this power, boiling artifacts, frying them, until discovering that by synchronizing his mana with artifacts of suitable rank, he could absorb their power. However, this realization came too late, as other players had already grown substantially stronger immediately upon awakening their abilities. Frustrated, Shinn slams the skill book, lamenting the lack of instructions. The constellation apologizes for his limited knowledge about Shinn's ability, but encourages him to persist, saying, "There's still time." This comment triggers Shinn's deeper frustration about his age and life's regrets. Had he started a family at 30, he could now have adult children or even grandchildren. When Shinn mentions his regret about not being younger and his plans to retire and cancel their contract, something changes in the constellation's demeanor. The Late Bloomer Model Student smirks mysteriously before telling Shinn he should live his life and utilize the essence he has experimented with. The surroundings begin to glow intensely. The scene shifts dramatically to show a man with glasses. A reporter interviewing a woman about the phenomenon that awakens players' superpowers. She explains that dungeons serve as stepping stones for players while gates connect to unknown dimensions that players must explore. Meanwhile, Shinn is watching this news broadcast in remarkably good spirits. He has regressed 30 years into the past. 4 days have passed since he returned to his younger self in his old apartment. Though initially confused after losing consciousness during the transition, he's delighted to retain all his experiences and memories from his previous life. Shinn examines his bronze-tiered dagger, a tiger artifact he was fortunate to acquire during this period. Though low-ranking, he knows its hidden potential. After consuming the artifact, his appearance transforms. His hair turns white as he enters a gap of consciousness, a special mental space he must navigate to absorb artifacts. Inside the space, he's presented with a chicken dish that he must consume. Upon eating it, he gains permanent stats, agility +2, and a hidden skill called Demon Bash. Though he regrets the destruction of a Zagger in the process, He's pleased to have acquired the skill he wanted. The scene shifts to outside a dungeon gate where several people gather. An older team member reports to their leader that one of their comrades has withdrawn, replaced by a newcomer who joined just 4 days ago. The armored leader confirms this arrangement, explaining that the newcomer will join the player team rather than the porter team. The older man expresses concern about this decision, noting that the newcomer only recently awakened his abilities and hasn't even completed player academy training. The leader dismisses these concerns, reminding him who makes the decisions regarding team composition and contribution distribution. Another team member questions the leader's acceptance of this novice. The leader ominously replies that if someone needs to die, it will be the newcomer, not them, suggesting they intend to use him as cannon fodder for the porters. As they speak, Shinn approaches and introduces himself. The team regards him with intense scrutiny while the leader smirks. Feeling the weight of their stares, Shinn stands awkwardly as the leader points out his long sword. Shinn claims to have studied sword techniques through YouTube videos, which the leader notes is ambitious since long swords are among the most difficult weapons to master. Shinn asks for their trust, promising to at least protect himself. The leader appreciates Shinn's spirit, and they begin their journey into the dungeon. As they enter the dungeon gate, the leader privately ridicules Shinn, viewing his YouTube training as laughable and believing the new player has a death wish. He anticipates that the dungeon's orcs will serve as a harsh lesson for the newcomer. However, the team is shocked to discover all the orcs already slain. The perpetrator, none other than their inexperienced newcomer, Shinang Yun. Want to know what happened? Let's get back a little flashback to understand more about these orcs. Orcs are monsters familiar from games, novels, and movies, which leads to certain prejudices about them. While they are certainly weaker and less intelligent than creatures like dragons, they shouldn't be underestimated. They stand about 250-some tall and weigh around 180k physical traits that give them overwhelming power against humans. Because of this, orcs have earned the nickname Wall of Lament, as many arrogant new players rush into fights against them without proper preparation, often with disastrous results. As our group traverses the dungeon, one team member warns Shinn that he won't receive special treatment for being a newbie. He's on his own. The old man from earlier spits contemptuously, criticizing Shinn for acting like a player so soon after awakening his ability. Shinn laughs awkwardly, promising to try his best. When Shinn asks if he can fight on the front line if they encounter monsters, the man begins to respond, but is interrupted. Suddenly, an orc appears behind them. Shinn quickly draws his sword, but someone blocks him. It's the same team member who then yells at Shinn, questioning how he plans to fight with a long sword when he's so slow. The man tells Shinn, "Prove your skill." Instead of running your mouth, the orc attacks the team member. But before it can land a blow, the armored leader slams his shield into the monster's face, knocking it back. He shouts at both of them, asking if they're on a picnic. The others praise the armored man's quick action as the orc rushes toward him again. The leader blocks and stabs the orc, but his attack does little damage. The orc counterattacks, and the leader barely dodges. Shinn watches silently, despite being level 50, supposedly one of the highest levels in the group. The armored leader struggles to land critical hits on the monster. Eventually, the leader stabs the orc, making it fall to the ground. The others praise him, and he laughs off their compliments. Suddenly, a loud roar echoes through the dungeon. When they turn, they see a gang of orcs charging toward them. Everyone panics if their leader could barely handle one orc. How will they face several? The armored man orders everyone to fall back. Unexpectedly, Shinn asks if he can try fighting them. The others mock him, asking if he thinks he's some kind of god. The leader begins to say that while he appreciates Shinn's enthusiasm, it's too dangerous. But before he can finish, Shinn rushes toward the orcs with his long sword. With a single slash, he kills a high orc, splitting it in two. Everyone is shocked. Shinn pushes his aura to maximum, wondering if his effectiveness is due to being only level 1. The remaining orcs, frustrated by their comrade's death, all lunge at him. Shinn attacks with incredible speed and precision, killing one orc after another as the team watches in astonishment. When he prepares to kill the last one, an armored orc, the monster attacks him. Shinn easily dodges and slices at the orc. The leader shouts that orc skin is too thick to cut through, but Shinn isn't deterred. The orc attacks again, but freezes just before its weapon reaches Shinn's neck. Shinn's hindrance skill has stopped the monster for 2 seconds. Laughing, He tells the orc to behave like a good boy and stay like that. Despite the orc's roar of defiance, it's too late. Shinn slices off its head. The team is speechless. They can't believe that a mere newbie who awakened his ability just 3 days ago not only possesses a hindrance skill, but is also extraordinarily skilled with a long sword. Someone mutters that they should ask what kind of YouTube videos he watched. The armored leader is particularly surprised that Shinn could use a hindrance ability against an armored orc, which should be impossible for a new player. The system congratulates Shinn for leveling up and awards him the unexpected title, Fearless Immature Puppy. The system also informs him that he has unused stat points and asks which attribute he wants to increase. Drawing on his experience from his past life, Shinn chooses to raise his luck, knowing it directly affects skill rates and artifact drops, something he learned too late in his previous lifetime. The armored leader approaches Shinn, questioning how he used a hindrance ability and where he got such a skill. Unable to reveal the truth about his regression, Shinn claims he obtained it when he awakened. The leader presses him, saying, "It doesn't make sense. It's not just insane luck, but suggests Shinn must have a diamond rank artifact or something even higher." Shinn challenges him to check his sword for himself. When the leader examines it, he's amazed to discover it's just an ordinary sword with no special abilities. This makes Shinn's performance even more impressive. The leader looks frustrated, thinking about how he's been running dungeons for 2 years without obtaining a good skill despite being level 50. Suddenly, someone calls out that the middle boss is approaching, and they command everyone to proceed. While moving forward, the leader turns to Shinn, acknowledging his help with the minions, but warning him not to overstep, claiming Shinn's skill won't be effective against the demon orc they'll soon face. Hearing this, Shinn smirks, remembering why he returned to this particular party after his regression. He calls out to the leader asking if he can take the artifact reward should he kill the demon orc alone. This is precisely why Shinn joined this group, because this party distributes rewards based on individual performance. In his past life, the Crimson Stone was something the MC could only watch from afar. After their team failed to take down the demon or another party had snatched the rare drop, a stone with a unique ability, Delay, a skill so powerful the MC had regretted missing out on it ever since. Now in this life, he's been given another chance, and he's determined not to let it slip through his fingers. But there's a catch. The Crimson Stone only drops after defeating the demon orc, a mid-boss with a terrifying reputation, and even then, the drop rate is absurdly low. Standing before a new team, MC asks a bold question. "If I'm the one who defeats the boss, can I take the artifact?" The party falls silent. It's a loaded request. To them, he's just some cocky newbie. A nobody who thinks too highly of himself just because he took down a few orcs. 2 members mock him openly. Who the hell does he think he is? Think he's a big shot now, huh? Their contempt is loud, but MC knows why he needs a Crimson Stone. The delay skill could be the key to surviving what's coming next. The team leader tells him to do as he pleases, but only if the party's wiped out. That's the only time he'll get a chance to solo the boss. MC agrees. "Fine, you guys go ahead." Frustrated, the armored guy swears he'll clear the dungeon himself and shut this arrogant rookie up. But as he opens the dungeon door, everything changes. An immense aura floods out. The demon orc is awake. Moments later, the sound of chaos erupts inside. Screams, steel, clashing. The demon is brutal, merciless. From a distance, MC hears the struggle and watches the familiar mistakes unfold, the same ones they made in the past. Instead of planning, they charge straight in. Panic sets in. "We'll die at this rate," someone shouts. The leader commands a retreat. Beataten, they fall back. As they pass MC, the team leader says, "Don't hate me if you die in there." MC just smiles. "Don't worry, I won't be dying today." He steps into the room alone. MC knows full well. If he compares his raw stats to the demon orc, he doesn't stand a chance, but that's not what this is about. This is about experience, strategy, timing, and resolve. The demon orc lunges a devastating swing, but MC deflects the attack. Shock spreads across the faces of the team watching from afar. He blocked it. MC winces. His hand vibrates from the impact, but his eyes are locked on one thing: the Crimson Stone embedded in the demon's chest. This stone, combined with his Demon Bash skill, could open up an entirely new dimension of combat. Right now, Demon Bash provides only a 2-second stun, but with delay, He could potentially sack sun effects indefinitely, an infinite sun loop. If I can land that combo, I win. He mocks the demon, baiting it. The beast roars and lunges in one smooth motion. MC Slices then activates Demon Bash. To his surprise, it works even on a boss, but before he can celebrate, the demon recovers. Another attack. Fast, powerful. MC barely blocks it. He nearly forgot. The demon orc has regeneration, and to stop it, he needs at least a 15-second interruption. That's why he needs delay. Another rush, another clash. MC parries and counters. The battle intensifies from outside. The team watches, stunned. How is he still fighting? His sun shouldn't even be working. Is he really a newbie? The armored guy grits his teeth. Something doesn't add up, but MC isn't thinking about them. He's focused, every ounce of power aimed at one point. A final charge, a precise strike. His blade pierces the demon's chest. The beast lets out a monstrous roar and collapses. Level up. A new title unlocks. Demon Hunter. MC smirks. That's 2 titles now. The perks of being a solo player. The team leader approaches, stunned. The armored guy can't believe what he's seeing. MC knows the attention is coming and he needs shift it fast. So he fakes exhaustion, yelling out, "I almost died in there." Thank God the team leader drew the monster's attention. The lackes immediately jump in. "I knew it," one says. "Wait, when did he even do that?" The armored guy freezes. "He didn't do anything." MC smirks. Then the crimson stone begins to glow. The team leader laughs softly. "So it's my complete defeat, huh?" He turns to his party. "We've defeated the mid-boss. Get ready. The final boss awaits." As they leave the chamber, they keep telling themselves, "There's no way that guy beat the boss solo." But now, alone in the chamber, MC looks at the glowing crimson stone and smiles. Finally, he takes the artifact and begins to consume it. The artifact turns out to be a master chef Bim Nang Mun with meat jelly delighting Shinn. He begins absorbing his crimson stone, observing his stats increase as he gains a new skill called Delay. Growing nervous, he experiments with binding his Demon Bash skill with this new delay ability. The system informs him that by using Demon Bash first, he can guarantee an extension into a second sun state. The third use has a 90% chance of success, before 60%, and the fifth consecutive use offers a 30% chance to continue extending the sun state. Shinn realizes he's guaranteed 4 seconds of sun time, something he only theorized was possible in his previous life. As he processes this information, the armored leader calls for him. The man explains that the final boss room contains an orc berserker and asks if Shinn wants to join the assault. When Shinn inquires whether the leader wants his help, the man replies that it would be a failure of leadership not to utilize a member like Shinn. He extends his hand in cooperation, which Shinn accepts while reiterating his condition about claiming the artifact reward. One team member announces they're ready to proceed, giving Shinn a disgusted glare that leaves him confused. Inside the boss room stands a massive monster. The leader offers to attack first, but Shinn suggests they should stick with him instead. Facing the orc berserker, Shinn recalls that this creature has lower skill resistance compared to demon orcs, making it easier to stun with calm, precise attacks. As he charges toward the monster, Shinn reflects on his own words. "Stick with me." In his past life, he was perpetually afraid as a young man and later struggled merely to survive as he aged. Now he's determined not to repeat that same existence. He must change his weak past and forge a new future by demonstrating overwhelming ability. With a precise strike, Shinn slices the orc and commands everyone to attack while the monster is stunned for 4 seconds. The team rushes forward, attacking from all sides until the berserker falls. Afterward, the other team members celebrate, claiming the dungeon was easy. Behind Shinn, some members begin discussing whether Shinn has a personal porter, each claiming they'll ask him first, squabbling over the opportunity. Shinn looks on in confusion, having no intention of doing menial tasks for them. His system informs him he's leveled up and obtained a D-rank title. Overwhelming power. He's amazed, thinking how he rarely earned titles in his previous life. Still, he knows this accomplishment pales in comparison to Deong-Soo, Korea's strongest swordsman player, who merely 2 years after the age of players began, reached monster level 500 with numerous titles. Shinn used to idolize him, but now believes he can catch up to his former hero, igniting a competitive fire within him. The leader approaches Shinn, asking what he's doing. "Just stretching," Shinn replies. The leader offers him the artifact reward, praising his exceptional work. When Shinn looks surprised at this generosity, the leader candidly admits it's just a bronze rank item, affordable enough to act generously with, and adds that they won't be seeing each other again anyway. Shinn acknowledges the leader's honesty while examining the artifact. Witnessing this friendly exchange, one jealous team member becomes enraged, thinking it unfair that the leader shows such favoritism to Shinn just because he demonstrated some skills. Grabbing his phone, he mutters, "Go die together," and makes a mysterious call. The scene shifts to Shinn's home where he happily examines his earnings. He notes that while porters earn only $200 daily, players receive substantially more plus bonuses. He examines the bronze artifact given by the leader, a berserker ring with a lightened ability. Even as a bronze rank item, Shinn is amazed to receive for free an artifact that spends 1 mana every 2 seconds to reduce the weight of all equipped artifacts to just 1 gram. He wonders why it's merely bronze ranked, concluding that most players would run out of mana before winning their sword duels. Shinn spent 50 years studying his ability in his previous life, discovering that artifacts requiring mana do receive penalties, but lose their mana cost restrictions. As he devours the artifact, he dismisses any potential drawbacks. The more skills he has, the better. The scene shifts to a club where the jealous team member insists everything he said about Shinn's 4-second stun ability is true. A man tells him to lower his voice and asks what he wants. Revenge. The team member says no. When asked what he wants, he replies, "Business. I'm here for business." A woman nearby asks if he's close to him. Suddenly, a blonde-haired man slices the guy's ear while pouring alcohol on the wound, causing him to scream in pain. The blonde man demands to know what the team member thinks they are: personal servants. He states he'll listen only as much as the man's ear is worth, demanding better payment and information about Shinn's current location. The next chapter opens outside a training hall where Shinn sits, feeling nauseated. The artifact he devoured earlier had transformed into an Eastern cold cucumber soup, a concoction that could kill an ordinary person. Despite the discomfort, his efforts have paid off. His weapon feels extraordinarily light thanks to the lightweight skill he acquired. Examining the skill details, Shinn discovers that the Devour artifact effect has eliminated the mana consumption requirement, though as a penalty, the lightweight effect has been modified to make all artifacts weigh an effective 100 grams. Looking at his sword, he decides it will suffice for now. Reviewing his status window, Shinn contemplates his next move. Since players can only have one constellation, he needs to choose carefully. Ideally, he wants someone compatible with his best stats, particularly luck. For now, he resolves to focus on training to attract potential constellations' interest. The scene shifts to Shinn exiting a car, his face gloomy from exhaustion. 3 straight days of intensive training followed by long-distance driving has worn him down, though not without rewards. He's gained a new passive skill called ambidextrous sword training, which increases his adaptability with all swords, excluding daggers and two-handed long swords. Standing before a dungeon portal, Shinn thinks about how solo players typically wait months for entry access. He's fortunate to have driven to one with availability. Glancing back, he notices a suspicious car lingering nearby. Whatever their purpose, Shinn decides he'll handle the situation inside the dungeon. As mysterious men enter the portal behind him, Shinn confronts them, asking if they realize this entrance is designated for solo players only. These men are working under orders from the blonde-haired man to take care of Shinn with a dangerous expression. Shinn asks if they've entered the wrong dungeon by mistake. "Are you stupid?" one replies aggressively. Grabbing his sword, Shinn warns them that if they leave immediately, he won't report their unauthorized entry. Assessing their composition, he notes they lack a healer or mage. They've sacrificed sustainability and other elements necessary for dungeon clearing. Instead, they formed a party exclusively of swordsmen and an archer, a specialized human hunting group known as the Hyena Pack. They laugh at Shinn, threatening that he'll die here. Shinn notes that parties like theirs have supposedly been eradicated by the Players Association's surveillance. Yet here they stand. He pays particular attention to their archer. Recognizing ranged attackers are typically the most dangerous in such confrontations, Shinn calmly informs them that he's been waiting for them. What better place to eliminate 4 enemies than a dungeon with minimal oversight? His provocation angers most of the group, but one holds the others back, suggesting they do things the easy way. Shinn further taunts the largest member, calling him a good boy who should listen to his boss. The strategy works. The enraged man charges Shinn with a full power. Survival of the fittest, Shinn thinks. What saying better suits a dungeon? He reflects on past wisdom. Monsters constantly pursue your life, as do other players hunting the same artifacts. Life is always on the line in dungeons. You die if you're weak. There are no rules or love inside a dungeon. That's why you must kill if you want to live. Back in the present moment, the three remaining assailants are shocked when Shinn effortlessly slices the large attacker in two. With a deadly glare, Shinn invites the others to attack, but they begin retreating instead. The blue-haired leader instructs the archer to maintain distance and provide cover until they can reposition. The archer agrees but is terrified, wondering how Shinn killed their teammates so easily. Though the fallen man wasn't particularly intelligent, he had reached level 100. Yet Shinn, who supposedly awakened only recently, dispatched him without effort. Spinning his sword casually, Shinn taunts them, asking where they think they're running. The archer fires several arrows, which Shinn slices mid-air with his blade. Then, in a stunning move, Shinn throws his sword directly at the archer, killing him instantly. The remaining two men watch in horror. The blue-haired man, noticing Shinn is now disarmed, senses an opportunity. He orders his remaining teammate to attack, while Shinn is weaponless. As they charge, Shinn dodges with incredible agility, jumping toward his embedded sword. In a display of exceptional balance, he lands on the sword's handle, pulls it free, and continues his assault. In a desperate move, the blue-haired man grabs his remaining teammate from behind and pushes him forward as a human shield. After dispatching this unfortunate pawn, Shinn confronts the leader. "I've heard about you. You're organ dealers, right? That's why it's hard to imagine you working together with any sense of trust." He suggests their goal must be the awakening of potential through organ transplantation, adding that despite appearances, he's seen such operations before. The man laughs maniacally and rushes Shinn, asking what difference this knowledge makes now. With chilling calmness, Shinn replies that he was merely curious. He activates his Demon Bash ability, instantly paralyzing the attacker. The blue-haired man, suddenly immobilized, is bewildered. How is he stunned? Then he remembers receiving minor cuts on his hand earlier in their confrontation. He can't believe such a seemingly broken skill exists. "It's over for you," Shinn states flatly. The man panics, unable to accept that he always the predator is about to become prey. Shinn mockingly tells him to relax, that it won't take long and he won't feel anything after the initial pain. Later, Shinn is seen washing his sword clean, contemplating that he shouldn't become accustomed to such violent situations. He worries these actions might damage his chances of attracting a constellation. Sighing, he justifies his actions as self-defense, then turns his attention to the artifacts he's collected from his fallen attackers.
With that, the story comes to an end. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to Senpai Respawn